have to talk about your drinking problem, Scooter. Yes. Hi. Here. Uh, Good evening. I'm Scooter McGee. Somehow, by accident or a click down a wrong rabbit hole, how's that? A little better? Okay. You have suddenly found this. I don't know how, and I'm sorry. I'm about to waste some of your time. To the fans of the Scooter McGee Show, I'm not necessarily talking to you, but to the subscribers of my YouTube page, good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, as the case may be. It is 1 a.m. in Boston. It is 8 a.m. in Kiev. It is 3 p.m. in Tokyo. And it is 10 p.m. in Laguna Woods, California. Um, I have a couple of announcements, and we're going to go through a couple of headlines. And I have a further data point from last night's Facebook live stream regarding the lunar eclipse and last night's live show afterwards on YouTube. And then that's going to do it for tonight. Um, I wanted to make some announcements about Operation Chihuahua. I will do that on Thursday. Meanwhile, Tuesday and Wednesday, there may not be streams. I don't know yet. So let's have a Coke and a smoke and let's chat here for a minute. You can find me at scootermcgee.com. In the next 2 days, I would ask that you go scrub my social media. No, scrub is the wrong word. That's what they're going to do. You skim it. Anything you want there, now would be a good time to grab it off Facebook and off of Twitter. I'm the Scooter McGee on Twitter and Scooter McGee on Facebook. Scooter McGee, the number one on Rumble. And you don't have to worry about that. Just go to scootermcgee.com. But if you have questions, comments you want me to address specifically, I will do that on Thursday night show. So if you got a question you want me to answer, now's the time to do it. This Bugada, as I've affectionately called it, started February 24th with Russian forces violating their agreement regarding their military exercises in Belarus, which is north, and moved into southern Ukraine, along with a push from the far east regarding now the area, which you may or may not know as the Donbass region. Meanwhile, Odessa, bombings have continued, shelling has continued. But I made some interesting comments and observations that I think over the next 2 days, some of you should go back in time and look at. Sorry, the notebook, I set they're fine. We have to do some cleaning and the green screen's got to come in. And all right. So going back to March 30th, 2022, when this book was started, because the normal day timer I carry with me, I'd run out of notes, and well, then you're gonna have to. Okay, then these bottles are becoming a real nuisance. Um, okay, those can come out. Those can come out. This July to January 2021 into 2022. It's not a manifesto. Everybody calm down. Irish, Roman, Catholic, conservative, nationalist, Irish mafia, expat. When I say Irish, Roman, Catholic, conservative, nationalist, you better know what that means. I don't know what a 4chan is. I don't know, subscribe to, or care about Q or QAnon. The only Q I'm aware of is in Star Trek The Next Generation, and that's a hack. And I'm sorry, the alleged killer of Francesco Cali, the underboss of the Gambinos, appearing in court with that nonsense written on his hand. I am very irritating, and I know that. I'm loud and obnoxious. I know that. I've admitted I'm barely housebroken. I'm not allowed pets, plants, or kids for an obvious reason. I don't have a filter per se, other than I do not intend malice when it comes out of my mouth. There's no hate and there's no Zena, Ziga, Biga, Raca, Homa, none of that. It's just if you were raised by jackals, then you'd understand. But in my years of experience and the people who mentored me and taught me what very little I do know after 54 years on this barren waste heap of a planet, write it down. You always go look back and look at it. Now I'm going to reference a couple of comedians in no particular order. Craig Ferguson has the best line and the best observation for the sake of all of this. Does this need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? And does it need to be said right now by me? But I think it's reversed. Does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? And does it need to be said now? Again, I'm not doing his shtick. I'm just, that's a, boy, when you get into a position where you have to think about, but that's a good way to think about it. So when I hear something or observe something that is outside the norm, I write it down. Now, I'm guilty as charged of owning many of these little digital recorders. I mean, they're all over the place. I never use them. The only reason I'm not wearing a pen is because I'm in a t-shirt. Uh, October, September, October, coming out of 9/11 into October, coming into November. A lot of interesting headlines that for me as a retired broadcaster, make a mental note. I don't remember what I did this morning. Check your day timer. Good idea. Not your smartphone. Okay, I'm going to just check something on my smart and you go away for an hour and a half. No, I can open up my day timer, look at it, and close it and go back to the conversation. That's just me. I know a lot of you multitask. I also call of you a lot of retards, and I apologize for that, but it's not with malice and anger. And no, in my opinion, you're retarded. You need your dopamine. You need how important I am and how many likes and shares, and I don't care. I see our society collapsing around us and realize that people don't want the news. Who really wants the red pill? Nobody. And I don't mean the blue pill like Viagra. I mean, people would prefer, it's not cliche, ignorance is bliss. And that's sad. And the internet, which is supposed to bring us closer together, has turned brother against sister, husband against wife, generation against generation. It hasn't brought us closer, further apart. It allows for passive aggressive communication. Oop, a text. Call them. It goes to voicemail. The phone is in your hand. It's a phone. No, it does so much more. Good. The new Google 6 is out, right? The introductory phones are still $500. Well, the understanding the price of the value of the dollar and NAFTA and the international trade agreement and COVID and the war in Ukraine. Oh, dear, they're not getting it. They're not getting it. You can take a horse to water, but it's illegal to shove their head into the water because we have to save the animal. We care more about animals on this planet than our fellow man. The Department of Defense Secretary is finally going to go out to Norfolk, Virginia. It's not in Norfolk, Virginia. It's Newport News Naval Shipyard, Newport News, Virginia, to the USS George Washington a month plus later to investigate what's going on in the suicide. Oh, he's going to do a little walkthrough and a little PR and get some photos and make a couple of statements. And we're going to need windbreakers. Well, Atlantic, the mist, and we should have windbreak khakis. Somebody remember to pack his khakis. So he's on the field, on the boots on the ground. Last night during the lunar eclipse, I made a prediction, and it's not a prediction. Thank you for those of you that did go to scootermcgee.com and shot me an email. Scooter, did you see? No, I didn't. Friday night, I was, because of what I'm going to tell you here in this book, some about something else. Operation Chihuahua, I think, is dead in the water. I don't know. But I mean, if you get a pinata wet, it's kind of tough. Um, Observations. October, November, December. I referenced last night a failed project out of the passenger seat of a moving vehicle. Could you be any more vague? Well, just another project I started on January 1st. Because of when I have observations, I keep them in my head and I don't have my notebook in front of me. But when I'm with other humans, how are the wife? How are the kids? How's the work? Okay. Broncos suck and swallow, right? Okay, well, can't talk about sports. So, hey, did you see this in the news? What did he say about the Broncos? Genuflect when you say that. Oh, and nome del Padre, del Figlio, del Spirito Santo. Amen. Oh, man, he's. Some of you need help. They're going to need a new stadium. Um, did you see the story of the convoy of the truckers in Canada? No. Did you see the story of the U.S. or the Russian military exercises in Belarus? No. Okay. Another data point. Because to me, it's never an absolute. It's just another data point. Um, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in Charlie Wilson's War is very apropos when he finally gets to tell the story of the little boy and the pony. We'll see. It's just another data point. We'll see. January, enter the first week of February. Scooter's acting weird. Yeah, well, he does that every year. Why? It's just a bad talk. Just keep your hands and feet away, and you'll be all right. He's not sleeping again. No, he doesn't really sleep much anyway. But he's doing weird things. Yes, I know. A lot of barbecue, a lot of he's baking again. Well, it's just Scooter. It's okay. And I shared with you as best I could about anniversary syndrome, but it's not in a way you think. It has to do with the events of February 1991, where I am, who I'm with, my age, the landscape of the political geography of the day, the political landscape, global politics. And the idea of, with such a huge success that Trivial Pursuit was, my former friends of the one of the breeding grounds and grooming areas and training facilities for the military industrial complex were obviously private military schools. And some of us were sent there because they excelled in excellence when it came to education. Some of us, including myself, were sent there because we were behavioral problems. So you immediately have that inner grouping within military school of kids who they've blown everybody out through every public school and the private schools, and now they're here because their senator is going to sign them off to go to wherever. Because again, you're going to Annapolis or you're going to Colorado Springs, but you've been congratulations, and this has nothing to do with white privilege, you worthless pieces of garbage. Um, but one of the schools that I was kicked out of not once but twice, family school, and has nothing to do with my family, even though participants went on to the Pentagon and higher, But that's where they go. You start here, you go here, you go here, and then you can select where you want to go. Because there was, whether it's political or no, this kid's a brain. Yeah, because two of my roommates were brains. Myself and my other roommate were borderline criminal. One of my roommates was from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. One of them was from Knoxville, Tennessee. I from the Twin Cities, and the other from Akron, Ohio. So don't even think that you're going to get the, well, there's a bunch of white privilege in the dorm. Hey, you better go check the class in 1985 before you say that. The idea was to create the game Risk in the 21st century format, because this is 1991, and we have a moment in time as young men we would have never had. We have a war live on television. We can war game this out using, and I told the story, we go to St. Paul Book and Stationery in the Skyway, we get the map, not the Risk map, the map. And we're going to play this out. We need dice and we're going to need cards. And I love you, Fitz. You brought the Uno cards, which created the wild card. I'm real curious why Chinese influenced, if not state run media here in the United States from the West, how are they getting away with a three-part expose this week as we're wargaming if China were to invade Taiwan, how the United States would respond? Are you effing kidding me? We're going to need to let the people know that Taiwan is next. We told you that the minute the Russian army crossed the border into Ukraine. We told you that there during the Conspiracy Keepers episodes, conspiracykeepers.com. The military and the White House was so proud. First time ever we're sharing military intelligence in real time. Hey, Joe Lanier, aka Joe Monaco. You don't suppose Xi and Putin have had a conversation, do you? Because my only question was, do you think the two of them talked, or do you think they're, for lack of a better word, chiefs of staffs, their handlers talked? No, it was probably them. Yep. Well, and thank God for the Washington Post and the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and the Business Insider, for getting on that story about 10 days later, going, hey, it looks like they did. And what else did they share? Well, they coordinated around the Olympics. Oh, didn't Scooter even talk about when the invasion would take place? And he talked about a 96-hour launch window immediately after the ending ceremonies in, oh, he did. Okay. All right. Well, you guys spin up missiles 1 through 20 and set condition 1 SQ, because apparently now I'm a racist, xenophobic, military extremist. As predicted, I was wrong. I figured the Soviet army, not the Russians, because they're using the Soviet playbook, that the Russian army was going to advance to central Ukraine and hold the river and hold the south and obviously Belarus. I pointed out the ghost of Kiev, the ghost of Ukraine was a ghost, was a lie. I believe in the first 36 hours of the reports of the Soviet Navy killing them all on Snake Island. No, they're not dead. They're prisoners of war. Why is the media running this story? Ian Fields on ABC News and his 3 different changes of clothes between morning, afternoon, and night. I remember Gulf War One CNN and staged footage regarding gas masks. And then it escalates to the initial announcement of the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, the Russians, that 498 Russian soldiers are dead. I'd love to see where the hashtag Me Too movement is on this in the disproportionate number of female versus male in the Russian military, and there's not enough diversity. Let me know how that works for you. And I said that number was incredibly suspicious. And I explained to you my understanding of the Kremlin power of 10 as it was taught to me in the 70s and 80s. If it was 40 or 50, they wouldn't say anything. 498 is a suspicious number. Approximately 500 soldiers. Why? Because they'd asked further. Yeah, that's true. Give them a specific number for them to go nowhere. You don't understand the Kremlin. People don't understand how many people live in the former Soviet Union known as Russia, and the towns from St. Petersburg back to Stalingrad, back to Moscow, back to Siberia. And although under communist regime, it's capitalism over there, no, it's mob mentality. Putin is mob. Putin is not Russian. Okay, the birth nonsense. He's German Stasi. The wall falls. He goes back to St. Petersburg. Mafia gains the contacts, gains control, and gains Moscow. St. Petersburg may have been wrong. It may have been Leningrad. What is the city furthest east? Sorry, west. You don't have the map up. Body bags are starting to come home. Every village is proud of their family members who serve in the Russian military. There is no way you're going to be able to hide this. That number is probably 5,000 if it's 500. Within a week of the 498, estimates of 7 to 10,000 Russians. So the Kremlin power of 10 is still in the propaganda matrix. At the time I'm going to post this video, that's the number one number in the corner when this video starts. How many dead Russian soldiers do we have? Plus or minus 200. The number of body bags coming home to the former Soviet Union, to the mothers and the daughters and the wives and the kids and the horror and the tragedy. Something is going on with the economic numbers. Something is horribly wrong with the economic numbers. Announcements now by Finland and Sweden to join NATO. All of this nonsense of negotiating peace. This isn't incompetence, by the way. They're in cahoots. This is more evidence of it. The sheer fact that Sweden and Finland, due to the proximity in the region and their geographical location, they're of course worried that they're going to be invaded next by the Russian army. Well, have we learned nothing since Neville Chamberlain? I don't want to get into Sun Tzu here. I didn't think I'd go this long. You don't pour gas on a fire. And rattling the sabers in the international community, another communist word. And you bring up communist. Yeah, well, I'm not a communist. And in military school, we had to sign pledges and oaths that we wouldn't join a communist or fascist organization. Actually, it was. It was part of the code of conduct that you could be. They tell us you can't join a fascist organization. We look around each other at the lunch table. Did you listen to that guy in history class? Yeah, he was nuts. Yeah, he. Why is he where? It doesn't matter. Where would we find a fascist organization? And one of the individuals at the tables is, we could just create one. So we draw up some notes. And without naming the school, we called it the school fascist organization because you're not allowed to join a fascist organization. So we created one to be funny because even the teacher got it because we made sure to leave a copy of it on his desk at the end of the day. We did pay attention in class. This doesn't make sense, but we're not allowed to get kicked out of this school. This document should do it. You can't call your parents on the. Well, this is okay. You were clearly today. You get an A for participation. Could you try not to be so disruptive in class? Well, could you not make stupid comments like that? No filter. Middle school. You're telling us in middle school we can't join a fascist organization. We don't know what a fascist organization is, but now that you've told us we can't, everyone at the lunch table now wants to. We're going to need more money for resources and education and awareness. You keep your mouth shut around stuff crap like that. Again, an adult wanting to push an agenda in a class where is this in the code of conduct? Who's got a copy of the code? Does anybody? Well, it's in my locker downstairs, somewhere in the bottom underneath four empty or half-eaten lunches that have gone to mold. Diplomacy. Yeah. President Joe Biden and Dr. Joe Biden, his handler, will be in Buffalo, New York tomorrow to saber rattle. Yes. For more gun control legislation that this time they call sensible. Because of all of this hate from the far right extremists. Has anybody read the 180-page manifesto? I believe he was a devout, self proclaimed communist. Again, we wrote it as a joke. God, if that teacher saved that document, somebody in the federal court system is going down in a ball of flames tomorrow. Hey, that moron did a podcast, mentioned your name the other night, and now we found this. You didn't really. Justin, because that was the one, the joke of Kavanaugh and the notes. How many notes? By my God, there's 4 filing cabinets worth of notes out in storage. We're going to need to destroy those immediately. Unless the government broke in, microfilmed everything, and then put it back and left. Last night, I told you about diesel. We didn't get to the notes. It's bottom of the hour. We didn't do on this day. We didn't thank sponsors. You moved the booze, the microphone. It's behind here now. So Silver Mountain Jewelry and Pawn, thank you. Greeley Westside Liquor, it's right here. Yes, no, I hit pause and I drank them all. Here, put them back over here. Diesel jumped 50 cents from 504 to over 550 a gallon in 30 days. I made a comment in the beginning of March about double-digit inflation. It is now middle of May. They can't hide it anymore. The baby formula crisis. Yes, the White House has reached a tentative deal, and the Food and Drug Administration has reached a tentative deal with Abbott, the nation's largest supplier. Ah, yeah. Well, what are we supposed to stand for next? Well, it's going to take approximately 2 weeks for us to ramp up production. Yes. And then we should get it back on the shelves in the next 6 to 8 weeks. 6 plus 8 on the line. That's fine. That's 8 to 10 weeks. So that's the middle of August. This is the middle of May. Middle of June is 30 days. Middle of July is 60 days. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 10 is 70. First week, second week, and I'm presuming there are no more supply chain issues. I know it's the playoffs, sports. Yeah. Anybody paying attention to Frito Lay is having to shut down plants to make Fritos? Generic, just the fried crap. Why? They can't even get cooking oil. They're closing plants. Hey, we're supposed to be open today. We're not open today. Why? Because we couldn't get cooking oil. See you tomorrow, Joe. Thanks to Union Strong. the resort industry, all things hospitality, all destination spots. I shout out to everybody enjoying the Minnesota opener versus the Maine fishing opener because you can't take fish out because all of the green organic turned out to be bio waste fertilizer that got back into the lakes that wasn't safe. We warned you about that decades ago. You called us kooks, and now enjoy your, on Golden Pond that you can't take fish out of because, well, you might get sick or worse. hmm Bill Gates may or may not be involved in a project regarding synthetic breast milk. Well, what a great time to announce. So happy. We are now 24, less than 20 hours away of the 2 week anniversary of who leaked the SCOTUS brief. Media doesn't care. They care about my body, my choice. CDC is not backing off, nor is Fauci or the rest of the crack staff. And that we intend to expect, we have now forecast 100 million cases of COVID by this fall. So that makes it so. Diesel fuel baby formula. Oh, so not for the fall, but the end of summer. It was one thing to retard our children deliberately with this remote viewing at home in a cube with a mask, social distance. Now we're going to deprive them of the nutrients of life. It is called Secret Memorandum 200. My name is Henry Kissinger, and I would really, really appreciate it if you would at least give credit where credit is due. I don't think the internet is a very safe place anymore because had it not been for the internet, that document would never have been seen by human eyes. Extremist hate speech. As the White House new press secretary came in full guns swinging as the first black, openly gay, pro transgender, just checked every box. And whether or not you're, again, you think they're a repeater, they're not a reporter, they're not a journalist, they're a contract employee in entertainment. What an important job you have here, and what a relationship we have. And don't think that I'm not acutely aware of how important I am as the first on the shoulders of, wow, could you just tell us when this nonsense stops? Sir, you're being very aggressive right now, and I'm going to have to circle jerk around to get out of here because I'm just not in a safe space. You mean the safe space like the Buffalo parking lot in the grocery store? And isn't that a safe space? Publix was a safe space. You mean safe spaces aren't safe anymore? Oh, the horror. Let's get that headline up and up on the internet right now. Give the talking points out tomorrow. The president will be in Buffalo. We're going to own this story till Thursday. How did you get a body in the ground on Monday? Who behaves like that at a funeral? Oh, yeah, just screaming and falling on the ground. By the way, this guy who was allegedly at the Tops grocery store on Friday, who had a chat with the, wow, yeah, and 1.2 and 1.7 and 7/10 of a second later, and we were talking the other day about, whoa, 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 I'm not believing a word coming out of your mouth. I don't care the color of your skin. I care about the content of what you're saying. And you're alleging you had this conversation with him on Friday, and you didn't immediately pull that smartphone out of your ass and call somebody? Oh, somebody did. Oh, the school did last year, last June. Oh, they contacted the school, and the school contacted authorities, and they did an investigation, and we decided in house, blah, blah, blah. Oh, another one slipped through the cracks. I see. More laws, more common sense when you keep dropping the ball. You drop the ball, by the way, on all of this Asian hate when it comes to the Chinese guys shooting the bad scooter. Hey, And the racism, because if I'm white and I say something, all hell breaks loose. Lori Lightfoot just prances and dances and does and says whatever she wants, and I'm not talking to you because you're white. I'm only going to do interviews with people of, oh my God. Um, how many have to die on your watch in Chicago? Are we still having the Democratic National Convention there next? Are we really still wanting to get rid of the Iowa caucuses first and bring it to Chicago? How many died this weekend in Chicago? Where's the media coverage? How many died in Oregon this weekend? How many died in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, Hennepin County, and Ramsey County this weekend? Philly, New York, Miami? There's the rub. Miami, Florida. Oh, nobody's blaming Democrats, Republicans. The disproportionate number of out of control shootings in disproportionately controlled geopolitical circles. And I bring up politics in the geopolitical of look at how the division of red state, blue state, gerrymandering. It's a pink state, it's a purple state. We're going to make, and we're making progress and we're moving forward. Every time they say they're moving forward, one of you gets left behind. Now it's tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands. And the argument of persons of color who are homeless, it's because of the color of their skin. Well, you start explaining to me all of these people who don't have color. Why is mom and grandma out on the street homeless? Oh, it's a mental health issue. It's fentanyl. It's fentanyl. Your agendas that you wear on your sleeve and you shove down our throat have become that obvious. I don't even want to say her name. To the former Aurora police chief, you've made no public admonishment regarding your girlfriend. Can't go after her because she's a lesbian. No, I'm not going to go after her because she's just beyond scum, a worthless human being who will never get her just due. She needs to go to prison for the rest of her life. She didn't know anything about it. Great. Well, I'd like to see the phone records right now between her and her girlfriend. Of course she knew. She may have not asked for it, but I guarantee goddamn you the girlfriend went, look what I did for you because I love you. Well, I was forced out. It was political. And yeah, your political agenda sucks and swallows just like the Denver Broncos. Your entire not your entire, a great deal of your administration was agenda driven, and you've driven so many decent members of your own department to retirement or to other jurisdictions because you sucked and swallowed that bad. Denver media trying to cover this up real quickly by doing a 30-second piece, adding sound effects in the timeline of the announcement of this, and you learn more on our news app. So the baby formula shortage stays on the radar through Memorial Day and 4th of July, and we may not see an end in sight come Labor Day. Oh, hospitality. Minnesota, Maine food got tangented. But another surprise. Yeah, we're 40 into this. God damn it. Um, Small town USA to Las Vegas, all destination travel places, summer vacations, favorite fishing holes, favorite camping spots, favorite places to stop along the way. Hey, we're driving to Minnesota, St. Paul. We're driving from the Twin Cities to Grand Marais to go to the Boundary Waters to have a month of fun. Great. We better stop at Toby's on the way up for a cinnamon roll because this will be the last decent food we get for a month. Let's get a dozen of those and throw them in the cooler. The diesel problem is about to get exponentially worse because it has been ignored since the first week in March. It is now the second week in May. The only thing this administration seems to be able to do is manage a crisis, and they're not doing a very good job at it. I fear before, during, or after the 4th of July, give or take 10 days, that launch window, we will see major crisis points regarding the transportation trucking industry, as well as the hospitality industry, the upcoming real estate bubble. And well, the weather's nice and you're in a sanctuary city, so it's okay. We don't have a camping ban yet, so you can just be homeless outside. Whew, look at the time. I apologize for the ramblings. I didn't get to the book. Okay, so the reason for a couple of days off, um, they're personal days, so I'm going to leave it at that. And I know I said I would do this every night till the war's over. This isn't going to end for 10 years. So infrastructure is being built. ScooterMcGee.com is up. Yes, we found a name for this show. Can't tell you yet because they have to do the legal stuff to do that, and I'll be in the law office tomorrow to get that done. Um, but I hope to see all of you in some form on May 19th. Um, and so now that you have questions, because you're going to get to spend a couple of days binge watching 30 days, and we're approaching day 80. Days 24. Well, it's 24-hour binge. You can watch every episode I've ever done in 24 hours, and I'm giving you 72. So if you've got questions, comments, or concerns, send them to me at scootermcgee.com. Like and subscribe to these videos. If you have a comment, add it. If you have a complaint, register it. And if you'd like to support this Bugatti, please do so on my Patreon page. Argumentatively, those links are. I should actually go look at my own website. Maybe we'll do that on Thursday together. All right. Good night. Drive safe. Be well. Be leery. Sorry. Be well, be safe, and be incredibly leery of the headlines. Don't even believe a word I've told you. But yeah, this is not, they're not turning this off. They're pouring gas on this fire. Why? Because they want crisis. They want the Great Reset. The Great Replacement. What the is that? Oh, that's right wing extremism. It's 4chan and QAnon, and never heard of it. Colorado, you used me as an attack and supposedly another phase of white supremacy in February. I missed the Great Replacement memo. Am I the only one who thinks that QAnon is a false flag that's being conducted by Hillary? It's the Clintonistas and retired expats of the Rapid Response War Room with unlimited funding and nothing better to do. Let's create a fake conspiracy. Because the Third World War is being fought with digital information and misinformation. And that's why we have to lock it down. We're going to, and it's got to be safe, and it can't be hate and hurtful. Sticks and stones can break your bones. Words are never going to do a fucking thing to you. That's really offensive. And again, you're talking very aggressively, and I would just appreciate it if you just stand back, okay? And security, I'm feeling very frightened now. I need security. We just want everybody to feel safe. There's no such thing. Don't let fear control your lives. Facts bring truth. Truth can't hurt. May be painful to swallow, but the truth can't hurt you. The never ending circle of lies have brought this nation and this world to exactly the moment in time we are. And somebody should make it stop. Or at least, can we stop the rides so those of us who want to get off, we can get off, and we'll go over to the food court and we can make jokes about the genetically modified chicken. All right, gotta go.